Well, it seems we are now moved on to the halfway point in terms of the forms of this entire marathon. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am, the one and only Mega Man here from the likes of the Mercury Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of the forms of the Mega Man Marathon 2 list of Let's Plays department. So remember how yesterday, that recently, Silver the Hedgehog, he recently finished up with the forms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, but here we are now on the forms of the 14th of August today, which means it's time for Mighty the Armadillo to tackle through the final Game Boy Mega Man game throughout the entire marathon. Yes, we're going to be ended up in Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. So, out of all the actual Game Boy games we're going to be able to come across into for the Mega Man games department on the Game Boy, Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy was actually the most uniquest one. Most notably because, well, I don't think that the Robot Masters is not going to come back, so because of that though, it's going to be replaced by entirely new robots that we're about to be able to face off against, which in this case though, we're going into way above the beyond with the actual frontier when it comes to likely space, galaxies, and all that stuff though. So yes, we're going to outer space this time around for reals this time, because it's pretty obvious that unlike the previous games, that the only time we went to space, it was obviously with the Dr. Wily fortress levels and all that stuff, or to be more specifically, his spaceship to be more specific. But now we're going on to the forms of these different planets based off from the Silas system. So because of this though, yeah, this is going to be interesting and fun at the same time. So we can able to actually just dive right in to the last Mega Man game on the Game Boy, which appears to be Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. So I hope you enjoy this Mighty the Armadillo, because it certainly is worth it. In the year 20XX AD, the world is at peace thanks to Mega Man. Dr. Wily's fourth attempt at world domination has failed, and his name has once again faded from the minds of the citizens of the world. A few months later, so it looks like Rock and Roll is most able to have a bit of a stroll around the field and all that stuff. Oh goodness gracious. So, you are the famous Mega Man. I am Terra, and you will soon be my slave. Time to power up with the famous Mega Man outfit. Oh, what? That didn't do a thing? For my Mega Buster itself? What? My Mega Buster has no effect on him. A few hours later, the world was attacked by warrior robots from space. Good lord. Where am I? Dr. Light found Mega Man and equipped him with a new Mega Arm, the most powerful weapon ever deceived. Why have the star droids come here? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, Mega Man, because either way though, we'll try to able to figure this out. Hello dudes, it is I am the one and only Mighty the Armadillo here, and we are from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5th Game Boy Mega Man game we're going to be tackling through for this entire Mega Man Marathon 2. Yes, we ended up on Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. This game first came out in 1994, which I think that came out during the exact same year, as if I recall correctly, came out the exact same year as when Mega Man X2, Roll Around, and also Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Knuckles, and even a legendary film on that particular year, which is of course The Lion King. So yeah, that's why I classified that. So as you can see on that particular capture device, originally we were expecting to able to go in a normal black and white setting, but however though, much like the forms of our Let's Plays of Donkey Kong Land 1 and 2, and maybe eventually Donkey Kong Land 3, then we can expect that we can able to talk more about this later, because, you know, Mega Man, our world is once again in chaos. The alien robots call themselves Star Droids, and have conquered most our major cities. They are constructed of alien material. Oh jeez. Which render our weapons useless. So that means we can't do anything about it though. But I have done some analysis and constructed a new weapon for you. It will replace your Super Mega Buster. And it's going to do a demonstration. It is called the Mega Arm, and it allows you to charge energy in your fist before you fire it. Fascinating, huh? And what's this, little fella? I have also created a new assistant for you. His name is Tango. Oh, kind of like the forms of those fizzy drinks with those fizzy orange juices or something. I'll enhance this item. Yeah, you probably get the idea of how this is going. So yeah, I believe that what Dr. Light is trying to say is the fact that, well, remember the forms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy? Well, basically he tells us about the fact that, yeah, P-chips do make a return, which I'm presuming that allows me to able to buy something in the actual Dr. Light's lab. So, enough about that, and let's get into the actual main action in terms of Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. So from the get-go, much like the forms of how it does it on the previous games, you can able to select up to 4 stages at the moment, but then until later on though, then you were able to experience even more stages than ever before. So nothing different from there, but the only thing is a little bit different this time is the fact that no longer we're going to be able to, excuse me, fight against with those robot masters, so instead we're going to be fighting those star droids. So in this case, the first one in the lineup is Mercury. So yeah, because basically we're going into outer space this time around, so I guess it's a little bit different than the forms of how it does it on any other Mega Man games for the Game Boy. So, well, relatively speaking, the gameplay itself is pretty much identical to the other games, except that the biggest difference to this though is the fact that, well, the newest addition in this game, I should say, is the fact that now we actually got ourselves our Mega Arm, or in this case, yeah, the Mega Arm, which basically, think of like this supercharged up Mega Buster, except the fact that you can only use the fist this time, so that way it'll do quite a bit of damage to certain enemy encounters and all that stuff, which is always like pretty cool looking, especially noticeable about the fact that, because relatively speaking, we no longer have ourselves our Super Mega Buster charged up Mega Buster, because, well, as far as I'm aware, the regular Mega Buster, including Super charged up Mega Buster, were able to actually have no effective against with the forms of Terra, as we saw from the likes of the forms of the beginning cutscene of the game. So, in fact, that reminds me that Terra name is actually very similar to the forms of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, where they managed able to name the actual main protagonist, well, along with the other two, being Aqua and Ventus. That basically Terra is another one of those three protagonists that you were able to actually consider playing as in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So, well, mind you, because this game came out in 1994, so I believe in Birth by Sleep came out in 2010, so for the PSP anyway. So, yeah, it seems kind of cool to notice that. So, anyway though, and there's also a new addition to the game is the fact that, as far as you already saw, that we actually come across into ourselves Tango, which I thought was assumingly is actually a cat. So because of that though, since that Rush was a dog, and now we have Tango as in a cat. So, pretty cool I have to say, especially noticeable for different species when it comes to likely for different robot nature and stuff like that for animals' sake. So yeah, it's pretty cool and interesting throughout the whole entire premise throughout. So of course, you're still able to actually use the slide maneuvering, just like the Forms of how it does on the other games. So yeah, nothing different from there, except the fact that, as you probably already noticed, is the fact that we actually got ourselves our different color display for the sake of this game this time. Because just like the Forms of how it does it on any other Let's Plays for our channel, speaking more specifically with Donkey Kong Land 1 and 2, and eventually Donkey Kong Land 3, if we get into that at some point next month, spoiler alert, that basically though, as you can tell, we got ourselves our Super Game Boy color scheme. So because of this though, this is going to be another one of those Game Boy games they managed able to enhance the actual color, if you do manage to play the game on the Super Game Boy and stuff like that. That way, the actual color scheme will pop up quite a lot for the sake of the forms of this installment. So, yeah, I guess it's a good thing. So, and of course, just like before, that there are some energy tanks you can find, and also the usual weapon health pickups and all that stuff. And to be expected, it plays out just like in any other games, except, well, obviously with certain features replaced. So, yeah, that I don't mind about it too much though, because as a result of that stuff though, of all the actual Game Boy Mega Man games for the Game Boy Mega Man games I want to point things out, this is by far my favorite, just because of the forms of how unique this game is. But anyway, let's go and take on the forms of the first Star Droid. In this case, we have Mercury himself, and basically he just managed to divide his parts up to like 3 globey stuff. Which, oh gee, that reminds me of the forms of that boss fight from the likes of Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 3 from the likes of the forms of Yellow Devil, but except the fact that no one there is impossible to beat, unlike, you know, Yellow Devil when it comes to those two games in particular. So yeah, basically all we have to do is basically have to charge up our Mega Arm and try to deal some bit of damage right here, despite the fact that I'm almost gonna get myself hit. But regardless of such though, there goes Mercury. So, yeah, I'm gonna say, that particular Star Droid might be a bit tough at first, but when you get the hang of it though, it might not be so bad, I guess. But it does have its weakness though, but I'll point it out whenever we're able to get into the later progressioning, for whenever we get to the second half of Mega Man 5, So of course, like always, every time you defeat the Star Droid, much like the Robot Masters in the previous games, you're able to actually get yourselves the weapon. So, yeah, nothing remarkably different about it, except that we actually got ourselves our coolest weapon that we got, and that is Grab Buster, which I'm guessing that every time you're able to actually shoot an enemy, basically though is the fact that you can able to regain the health from them. So I guess that's like a cool thing, I suppose. So anyways, let's pop over to see Dr. Light really quickly. So because of this though, yeah, as I said, returning feature from the likes of the forms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, in addition to able to actually get ourselves these P-chips, but also the shopping system is back. So of course, you're still able to actually decide to buy energy tanks, including extra lives, and especially noticeable with the forms of the weapon tanks, and especially noticeable with certain enhanced chips. So as a result though, we'll trying to grind for more of those P-chips and during later down the road. So anyway, so now we're done with the forms of Mercury. Now let's move on to the next Star Droid, which appears to be Neptune. So I'm guessing we're going on to the forms of something more accurately like a water theme level or something like that, because, well, as far as I'm aware, with the forms of Neptune, it's almost like, well, I don't know what you're able to expect, you're able to notice in this, but I'm presuming that from the actual satellite, the satellite system, when it comes to the forms of knowing, certain planets in particular, that, basically, though, I do know for the fact that, you know, Mercury was before, Venus, and as well as after the Sun, and, as far as Neptune is concerned, it'll be basically, it'll be before, Pluto, and, after, Uranus. So, yeah, at least as far as I'm guessing for that particular, the solar system, as far as that's been concerned with. Even though I haven't exactly, known about the forms of the solar system for such a long time, for donkey's years. So because of that, though, I'm just usually just trying to able to predict the actual picking, so yeah, as far as you already know, is the fact that today's day is, of course, the 14th of August today, in this case in 2022 today, so it looks like we're actually getting pretty darn close to the second half of the forms of August before we move on to the 9th month of 2022. So yeah, it looks like we're getting really close, and especially noticeable that since that we know onto the forms of the second half of the forms of this entire marathon of the Mega Man Marathon 2, so hopefully we're able to actually get those games. Ah, darn it, I somehow forgot to notice there was actually an explosion if you killed that particular enemy. But that's okay though, because we got a checkpoint as soon as we're able to actually get the explosion death, so that's alright for me, I guess, but regardless of such though, is the fact that, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that the game can get pretty tricky at times, but, you know, as to be expected with, most old-school, games every now and then, but, regardless of such, yeah. Also, this stage does almost reminds me of the forms of Toadman stage for some reason, just because of the forms of that particular wavy, little waterfall, things you have to able to jump through. So, yeah, you probably expect it by this point. And it's also, it's like a combination of, you know, Toadman stage and, Waveman stage from Mega Man 5 on the NES version, because obviously, if you dare touch those little, steamers from those pipes, I believe you get hit. So, yeah, you have to stay sharp and watch out for those, so yeah, yeah, you know, like I said, there are P-chips to collect, and there's actually quite abundance of those P-chips this time, as opposed to the ones how it does it on, maybe a little bit from the likes of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. That's, relatively speaking, you can able to actually get the insane amount of those, P-chips, especially noticeable if you manage to find them from, not only from certain levels themselves, but on certain random pickups, in particularly for certain enemy encounters and all that stuff, so yeah, that's to be expected by this point, so. And also, similar to the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, once again you were able to actually find out there was going to be some of those little small E icons, which just like the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 4, that basically, if you somehow collected all 4 of these little E icons, which actually represents those energy tank parts, basically though is the fact that you can able to actually get yourselves the a free energy tank to spare. So, because generally speaking, this game is basically, it's kind of like Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, except with all that, you know, new level themes, and especially noticeable with a different bosses to take down, rather than just the forms of the rehash robot masters from the likes of the past games, because, well, as far as I'm aware, I don't think we can able to actually fight against with the forms of, you know what I mean, with the forms of, Waveman, and especially noticeable with, Starman, Drawerman, and, Gravity Man from the forms of the Game Boy format, and especially noticeable with, the rest of the majority of the Mega Man 6 Robot Masters. So because of this though, because you know, we have a different threat to deal with, which I'll give this game some credit for, because they did something original about it, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that we actually get ourselves all different foes to take down, so, but I digress. So, alright, so, this is where we come across into the actual water involved, so at the very least we can able to actually just deal with the forms of low gravity right here, so at the very least we can just be very cautious not to able to get touched by those instant death spike balls and all that stuff though, so yeah, to be expected when it comes to classic Mega Man difficultiness, I suppose, but Alright, so it looks like I believe we're almost nearly at the end of this particular level, so... Yeah, because I will have to admit it though as well, I guess, is the fact that the level length for Mega Man 5 is going to be much more longer than he falls how it does it on, you know, previous Game Boy Mega Man games up to this point. So, oh, and by the way, with that particular S icons, that actually represents that, the Star Droids, because obviously we're going to be face off against with them. So, anyways, let's bring out ourselves the Mercury, weapon, in this case, Grab Buster. So let's take on Neptune now. So either way though, let's go ahead and deal with him for I would say a bit of damage, but I don't think I can able to actually equip the forms of that particular you know, the actual Mercury weapon, because it might not do anything on boss fights. It only does that on enemies. So because as you probably already noticed, that I've already switched it back to the normal Mega Arm, so that way it'll do quite a bit of damage to Neptune. So I honestly have no idea why I just managed able to mention that from the from a few seconds ago, because, well, relatively speaking though, is this the fact that I'm just a little bit too tired today, most notably because of the forms of the heat wave might actually decide to kick in during the course of the majority of today, but I do apologize for that. So anyway, so now we actually defeated Neptune, so in this case we actually get ourselves the pretty cool nifty weapon, which is salt water. Okay, seems a little bit interesting to say the least, but of course, just like in the past games, there are some passwords to insert, so yeah, nothing different from there, I guess, but regardless of such though, we can able to accept that. So, now with those particular, well, not so much the forms of the exact same items you can get from the actual shop, so in this case, I'll also buy another energy tank here. Of course, just like in any other Mega Man Game Boy games since Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy, you can only carry up to 4 energy tanks, so it's nothing different from there. So, anyway, so let us move on to the next Star Droid, which it might be seems a bit almost like tank-like of any sort, which I'm guessing his name is Mars. So, yeah, kind of an interesting name for the actual, the Star Droid. So, and I'm guessing it's, after Earth and before Jupiter, at least if I was assuming correctly. So, well, I may be wrong, but then again though, it has been a long time since I actually known about the Silo system, so yeah, forgive me if I managed able to bunch things up a little bit. So, either way though, you probably expected by this point, so anyways, let's go ahead and keep on moving, and oh jeez, those like enemies right there just gets on my nerves sometimes, but thankfully we did manage to kill these kinds of robots, as you probably already noticed, but anywho. So let's just keep on moving, grab some more, you know, health pickups in particular, despite the fact that we've already got our health pickup already, so I don't think there's any point we can able to actually just worried about this too much, aside from the fact that we can able to actually kind of think about it, we don't have our Rush Coil or Rush Jet yet, so yeah, this is what happens if you manage to equip Tango, by the way. Basically, he decides to able to do a bit of a spin dash kind of syndrome, and then basically though is the fact that he will be useful if you manage to get crowded by tons of enemies. So yeah, I don't think we can able to actually get those P-chips from up there, because I don't think we're able to actually get ourselves the Rush Coil and Rush Jet yet, but don't worry, we will get into those, so do not worry. So, in this case though, that you won't be able to actually missing out. So, anyways, let's go ahead and keep on moving, and hopefully we won't be able to actually having ourselves some bit of troubles here and there, despite the fact that I'm also able to get hit by these very annoying jumpy like robots, because obviously every time you use the Mega Arm, sometimes he just always jumps over from my Mega Arm, assuming if I was trying to able to do a bit of timing jumps and what have you, but regardless of such, I did manage to able to kick his butt during time, I guess, but anyway. So of course, much like any forms of, oh jeez Louise, I forgot about that particular rocket, that if you somehow shoots onto that, then basically I can able to get hit by the explosion. But oh man, I was literally not expecting that. So anywho, oh jeez. So every once in a while, just like in any other games, there's gonna be some mini boss fights every once in a while. So at the very least, this particular well, mini-boss is actually pretty easy when you get the hang of it, though. And I was expecting to get the energy tank from up there, but we do need that specific upgrade in order to able to actually grab certain items from not only from the likes of the forms of certain areas, but also other things itself as well, I guess. But then again, though, this is my first time I actually experienced the game, so oh jeez, certain spikes. But thankfully, though, the spikes are nowhere near as abundant as the forms of how it does it on that particular Mega Man 3 Game Boy version, just because, well, it seems totally obvious, because I just think that the level design in Mega Man 3 feels a little bit of a step back to me, though, just because of the forms of nerve-wracking difficulty in mind. But regardless of such, though, oh god! Come on! Escape! There we go. Oh, good lord. So much enemies, man. They just managed able to just try to ambush me like nothing else, I'm telling you. It's nothing else. But anyway, let's go and keep on moving. And thankfully we can able to pick up some bit of health. Well, mind you, nowhere near as that much health though, but at least that's something, I guess. And I get the strong feeling from up there that after we able to go, yep, there's an energy tank right up there, so I think I might as well backtrack for a little bit and then just hopefully try to able to be very careful not able to get touched by those little spikes, because if I do, I'll be pushed all the way back from that particular checkpoint spot. So, oh jeez, I forgot about these rockets can able to actually just plummet down with the parachute. I mean, jeez, okay. So I think we're almost there, I guess. Well, despite the fact that, like I said, those levels are gonna get much more longer than the previous games, I'm pretty certain. Because, either way though, because that's to be expected by this point. Because I almost first thought that it will actually have itself a save feature. Well, that wasn't until when Mega Man 8 was a thing. They obviously do have the save feature, along with Mega Man and Base, including the sequel on the well, let's just say the Bandai Wonders one, so I'm presuming that's what that is. So, anyways, let's go and keep on shooting the exact same mini fight as the forms of how it does it from before. So at the very least, we can able to actually just use the Super Arm to, or in this case, the Mega Arm, as far as I like to say this, because, well, for some reason, I just keep thinking about the forms of another few games that has like Super Arm as a weapon or something like that. Maybe like Gutsman's weapon. So. Anyway, so let's go and keep on moving, and, oh jeez, it's gonna be almost like an endurance kind of, run-throughs, I guess, but, oh, can I even make it? Oh, come on. Come on, jump button, work with me! Come on, thank you. Hey, took me quite a while to able to actually just get moving, but, regardless of such, we have made it to the very end of, Mars level, so, I guess that's that. Alright, so let's just go ahead and use the saltwater weapon equipped to able to take on, of course, Mars. So, yeah, because obviously his weakness is, well, saltwater, if you try to use it properly. So because of that though, I can assure you that the saltwater functions kind of the same way as in Crystal Eye from the likes of the forms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, and same applies to the forms of, Mega Man 5 for the NES. So basically, if you manage able to let the salt water get into any enemies or bosses, then it'll divide them into 3, as you probably already saw from that little introductioning screen. But there we go, we've managed to take down Mars. So yeah, I'm pretty darn certain that there will be 8 star droids throughout the whole entire game, just like any other robot masters in the past games. So yeah, nothing different for that particular number amount. So anyway, so after dealing with Mars, we were able to get ourselves the Photon Missile. Okay, that seems kind of helpful, even for let's just say for certain areas and all that stuff though. But regardless of such, I think we should probably just go ahead and move on to the next stage, which appears to be, well, as far as I'm aware, Venus. Because as far as I'm aware, I saw that little V symbol, so that actually represents Venus. So, and obviously this stage is going to be involved around in, does it have too many bubbles around here? How weird is that then, huh? So obviously that the Venus planet was actually after you know, Mercury and before Earth. So yeah, as far as I'm aware for that particular the Silent system and stuff like that. Because kind of think about it though, that also applies to the forms of how it does it on let's just say whenever we played Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games on the Wii and the DS versions, that's basically with the circuit mode, they obviously do manage to have the exact same names as the actual planets themselves, like some of them anyway. Like for example, there is let's just say Mercury circuit and the Venus circuit, as well as the forms of Jupiter circuit, and as well as the forms of Saturn circuit, and I think that's about it, at least if I recall correctly, because, wow, I've honestly have no idea why they just couldn't be bothered able to actually just to name it Mars circuit, or Uranus circuit, or Neptune circuit, or Pluto circuit, but even then, no, it knows what it is for the most part, so yeah, I'm presuming that this place is going to be filled to the brim with all these bubbles that we have to able to not only try to dodge, but also with all that level elements to it, I guess. But either way though, we're just going to have to stick around with it, I guess, so oh yeah, something's worth mentioning for this point as well. Yeah, this game also came out on the 3DS eShop version as well. But unfortunately though, we've only got about 15 days to go until, sadly though, that the eShop applications for the 3DS and the Wii U will be pretty much useless at this rate. So, kinda sucks though, especially noticeable because, well, basically I just managed able to enjoy those particular apps from a very long time ago, but unfortunately though, it has to happen, sadly. It just has to happen, so oh well, no big deal, but at the very least we'll still hope for some successes to Nintendo Switch stuff like this, but honestly guys, I honestly have no words able to try to talk about this, because aside from the forms of that particular unfortunate thing is about to happen in the next few days, then honestly, we honestly have no words to able to consider this a fact, so oh well, no big deal, no big deal. So anyway though, aside from all that stuff though, honestly guys, that's as far as I can usually try able to discuss upon, not only for the sake of the forms of how Mega Man 5 plays out, but also with the forms of that entire discussion at this rate, but yeah, that's as far as I can usually try to able to discuss on something, so hopefully until tomorrow anyway, I will able to discuss on more details about certain stuff until tomorrow, so yeah, at least that might be something as usually as far as I'm concerned with that stuff, so anyway, so, oh, this is kind of fun. Basically, we can able to actually just to bounce around with the actual bubbles and all that stuff, so that way we can able to be very careful not to get hit by not only spikes, but also, you know, certain enemies that'll try to ambush me at certain points, but regardless of such, that's as far as I can usually try to say about this. Of course, there might be some other secrets to be found, like, if you remember the forms of how the fact that, oh, right, we need to worry about that particular waterfall, because if you get involved with that waterfall, basically though, is the fact that you're dragged down with the bottomless pit, down you go. So, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of one of those levels in, Sonic Unleashed for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, like in a level called Adabat Jungle Joyride in Nighttime level. Basically though is the fact that if you get involved with the waterfall, you'll be dragged into the water itself, down you go. So because of that though, yeah, it does remind me of that for a little bit, except the fact that it's not in 3D because we're on 2D perspective, so I guess that's that, I guess, but anyways, let's just get rid of this little mosquito-like robot before we don't able to actually get screwed by able to accidentally touch that spikes, because, well, sometimes you have to take yourself a little bit easier when it comes to likely just patience and observation is the actual key to winning, so oh jeez, that was close. As long as I weren't able to actually use the invincibility frames, I will be fine, but it's just the fact that we need to still be very cautious with certain obstacles like these, so but still, can't deny by that, so anyways, let's go ahead and keep on moving. It looks like so far that the Venus level is kind of long so far. especially noticeable because, like I said, every other levels in the game is gonna get much longer, so... Which I don't mind it, especially noticeable this is on the Game Boy, of course. Oh, and by the way, that particular owl robot does remind me of one of those robots in Mega Man 2 from the likes of Airman stage. So, it's just the fact the matter is, though, it's just the fact that except, well, obviously it's on the Game Boy, of course, but, anyway, we made it to the end, so, whew, that was a bit close. But hey, at least we can able to actually just to take care of the forms of, well, the next Star Droid. So, actually, no matter what, though, I think I should probably just go ahead and, well, let's just say, committed suicide, I guess? Or maybe I'll just try to go ahead and, use that particular, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I always get cornered. Actually, no matter what, though, I'll use the energy tank. Oh, jeez. I keep on mixing things up of what I'm supposed to do. So anyways, though, here's the forms of Venus, and obviously his weakness, if you couldn't tell, is Photon Missile. Or Missile, what if you want to be more specifically to want to say. So yeah, pretty easy, assuming if you're able to not get cornered by him by multiple times. But there we go, that pretty much does it for not only Venus, but also the first half of these 8 Star Droids. So... because I'm presuming correctly that much like in Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy and Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, I believe every once in a while though we'll probably come across into an extra boss fight before we continue our progressioning for, well, you know what I mean. So anyways, let's see what weapon we've got from Venus, and it turns out it is Bubble Bomb. Okay, pretty handy though, kind of think about it. Especially because, and also, every once in a while, we've now got Rush Coil, which behaves exactly like the forms of how it does on the past games. So, nothing different from there, I guess. So, anyways, let's pop over to see Dr. Light quickly, so that we can able to just, well, specifically buy something in this particular shop. Like, I would say, an extra life, because, well, I just don't want to get myself a game over or anything else. Actually, no, wait, do I need to buy it? Yeah, I might as well buy it anyway, just in case I don't wanna, you know, die so many times, because unlike in, Neptune stage, that I somehow unexpectedly able to notice there was actually an explosion, so... Anyway, so we got ourselves the energy balancer, which allows you to able to save up some of your weapon energy and stuff like that. And also, that we got ourselves the S-Tank, very similar to the forms of how it does on Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. It allows you to able to actually just to go ahead and, well, pretty obvious that you would able to actually just, you know, refill your, health, and also, you know, the actual, you know what I mean, with the actual weapon energy as well, so... Anyways, before we proceed, let me grab this extra E piece right here, so that way we can able to actually just spend the actual P chips as much as we can, and I think that pretty much does it from there. And well, we can pretty much guarantee that we can able to face off against with Terra himself. So, or really though, well, we'll just see what happens there, because I'm presuming to you, I believe this scene is all cinematic based, so because it seems pretty obvious that we can't do anything around here, so we can just simply use the Mega Arm to bust out the door, and well, I can't control it, it's just all autopilot, so let's see what Mega Man is gonna able to figure this out. That's strange. There's nothing here. Well, I suppose we should probably be able to continue moving, I guess. Oh, speaking of a devil, it's been a long time, Mega Man. I didn't expect to see you in one piece again, but that is off. Little consequence. Now, I will destroy you as I did before and invade my fallen comrades. Dark Moon, attack. Wait, Dark Moon? What's that supposed to mean? Something tells me there's gonna be a, what the? Does that look familiar to you? Is it like the exact same thing as what Yellow Devil just do? Wait a minute. It can't be. That can't be right. Oh my god! Oh my god, he looks exactly like the Yellow Devil, although usually it calls him, well, Dark Moon. So, yeah, here we have the next boss, which appears to be the Dark Moon. So, yeah, basically, in order to deal with damage against with, you know, Dark Moon, and that is the fact that, well, normally there was this weakness, which is the form of Photon Missile, but, honestly, I think I might as well go for the hard route by, well, just using a Mega Arm in order to deal with damage to this guy. But, just like the Yellow Devil from the past, Mega Man games on the console games, I'm pretty sure that he will be a biggest pain to deal with. But luckily, we've got energy tanks, so that, at the very least, that, the difficulty is a bit more balanced compared to the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 1 for sure. And you obviously need to wait until his eyes are about to open in case if you're able to take a shot for, you know, his weak spots in particular. But, oh jeez, so much stuff to avoid. I think the best thing for doing this is just, well, if he just goes like in a lower state, and also if it goes a bit higher, then obviously I think you should just go ahead and slide, and then if it goes a bit higher, then just stay onto the actual the edge right here, if you can see. But yeah, for the most part though, Dark Moon, he was kind of easy, but also kind of tough and difficult at first. But anyways, oh, just only 1 unit of health left, and there goes Dark Moon. Oh man, I can't believe he was actually gonna be the case right here. But there we go, we basically completed this entire mini-stage. That was pretty unexpected though, I must admit, but hey, at least that's something I guess. Welcome back, Mega Man. I have just discovered some shocking news. The Star Droids have been using the resources from Earth to create an even more powerful generation of robots. If they launch an all-out attack, now we'll be easily defeated. I'm not sure what to do. Dr. Light, we need to strike now. If you can transform Rush for space travel, we can try a surprise attack and wipe them out. Okay, I'll start modifying Rush and give him some extra firepower. This may take some time, so why don't you go exchange your, P chips just like always. So yeah, you pretty much expect it. So at this point I've only got about 2 of those P chips at the moment, so I don't think I can able to afford the actual next item. So anyway, so now we're able to actually go into even further into outer space, and because of that though, we can now able to actually take on, well, let's just say the second half of those Star Droids. So which one of those Star Droids we actually are currently missing about? Well, I suppose we'll find out after this particular cinematic scene is finished. So yeah, we now enter outer space in the earlier state this time. So yeah, I guess suffice to say, I think we should probably end things off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy. And that is the fact that we'll go ahead and finish up with the forms of the rest of those Star Droids. So yeah, that should be exciting. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later, dudes.